Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I've been to Mactan Newtown Beach on Mactan Island several times, and it has always been calm and the waters have been nice, clear blue waters. Today, this day was a little bit different. We got down there and there was a pretty heavy breeze and the waves were quite high. These banca boats, haul a lot of people, transport a lot of people and freight between the nearby islands over to Olango Island and other islands, and they bring motorbikes, people, a lot of freight, gasoline, propane, everything you need on an island comes across on a boat, and it was kind of interesting watching them load and unload this ferry. There was at least one person had a really bad misstep and dropped a lot of their freight in the water. Later, you'll see some kids trying to retrieve it, and I'm not sure if they were ever quite successful. They got it up on the bank there once at least, but it seemed to wash back in. In my professional opinion, it would be a good idea to add several inches or centimeters to the width of that board and maybe make it a little bit longer for some of these situations like this as well. That old boat's bobbing up and down pretty good. And your handrail consists of that guy holding that pole. He's holding it from the boat, and he went down there. He lost his freight he was carrying, and he had quite a load on his shoulders.
Go in the water?
Some rice, and I'm not sure what else. But some kids are going to go in there and try to retrieve some of that stuff.
Right, and then what about the groceries? We have to pick it up.
They should have a wider board. It's a very narrow board.
Tens of thousands of Filipinos and tourists travel on these bancas, what they call banca boats, and larger ferries every day between the various islands. And they've got to move all that freight across. Sometimes the seas are not the best, but it's very rare that they shut down the shipping. If a tropical storm comes through, they will shut down the different ports in those type areas. But they used to kind of allow it up to the discretion of the people, and more boats would sink, I think. And the facilities at these piers and ports vary greatly. Some are much better equipped to handle people and freight. This is a heavily used pier, and this is the way they do it. They put that little relatively narrow board out there, and when the seas get a little rough like they are on this day, it becomes a bit of a challenge. It is interesting watching them. Here are a couple of kids in the water trying to retrieve some of what fell in there when that guy slipped. And they eventually do find a sack of something and throw it up on that concrete area, but it looks like it got washed back in. And I don't know if there was anything left in the sack. But look at those waves. And just the other side of where I'm filming actually is a beach, Mactan Newtown Beach. I think cost us 150 pesos each. I think some days it's a little more expensive than that. I think it's 250 some days. But it was 150 pesos each to get into the beach area. And they've got cottages you can rent. And they had the waves, the high waves over there too, and the kids out there swimming were having a great time jumping around in those heavy waves. And I'll show you a little bit of that towards the end of this video. There's your handrail, the guy with that long bamboo pole. That is your only handrail. I hear this guy's going to try to throw that yellow bag, part of what fell when that guy slipped. And I don't know if there's anything left in the bag, because it doesn't look like it has much bulk at all anymore, but they threw the bag up there anyway. Most of these motorbikes, in fact all the motorbikes I've seen them move on and off these ferries, have been relatively small, 100 to 125, 150 cc's. I would imagine if they get anything much bigger than that, that would be a major task, maybe an impossible task, to get that down and across. And you're probably going to have to look at it, putting that on a roll-on, roll-off ferry, a larger ferry. Going to be pretty difficult to get that on one of these little banca boats. Lots of people waiting to transfer themselves and freight onto the different islands. At one point, this boat pulled away and tried to reposition itself, and don't think it did much good. But usually in the morning, the seas are quieter, and then a lot of times the wind will pick up in the afternoon. You will get not necessarily this much wind, but you will get a little bit heavier waves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because in Olango it's an island, not
Yeah, even Malapascua, Bantayan. Yeah, every island has to get gas and everything brought over by boat.
I've been out on that pier a couple of times, and it seems like there is always a big line of people waiting for the next boat to go across to one of those islands. Very busy pier area there. And the same is true of almost every pier that I've been to. You got the big piers at Pier 1 in Cebu City, and you've got Pier 2, Pier 3, Pier 4 there, and Pier 1 being the main passenger terminal. But you also have passenger ferries departing from other piers as well. You have a ferry that runs every couple hours now, I think, from Pier 3, goes from Pier 3 in Cebu City, goes across to Mactan Island, lands over by the Cebu Yacht Club over there, very close to the Robinson's Mall. And I will do a separate video about that area in the next few days. But this is how you travel when you live on islands, big islands, small islands, if you want to go someplace. Of course, there are many airports on the different islands, and you can fly into many islands. They also have a couple of smaller airlines, One Air being one. I've done a previous video about small planes going to the smaller islands. This east side of Mactan Island also has many, many, many resorts. Everything from 1 and 2 star local beaches where it costs maybe 50 pesos to use the beach, on up to the 5-star resorts and hotels that might charge you 3,000 or 4,000 pesos for day use of the facilities.
I'm looking at the motorcycle. Oh my God. Wow. Amazing.
And here's a look at the beach area over here. And this guy in his little, what is that, a unicorn or something like that? Those waves are having their way with him, and he's going to get up against that pier here in a little bit. They're going to throw him up there. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe. Safe travels to you all wherever you're at. May your little rubber duckies stay off the piers, crashing in from the waves. Fortunately, the water is very shallow there, and he was able just to climb out and walk safely back to shore. I wouldn't want to be caught out in the middle of a sea with those waves. See you next time.